This week on World Traveler Cooking, the Croque Monsieur. This has quickly become a classic sort of French sandwich from Paris, and I'm going to show you how to make it today. Now, traditionally, the sandwich is made from a bread called pain de light. I think de light. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce it. But you could use a white sandwich bread instead, and that's what we're going to use today. We also have Gruyere cheese, which is very important. We're going to use a maasdamer cheese, though in the US you could use a Swiss cheese. We're going to use ham. I got a Prager ham, which is probably the wrong ham for this. But it should be close enough. Ham is pretty close to ham. And we're going to use a very little bit of milk. Interestingly enough, we're also going to use a dash of nutmeg. That makes the sandwich particularly unique. Now, the Croque Monsieur has a number of important variations. There's the Croque Madame, where the sandwich is served with a runny egg of some sort, whether poached or fried on top. There's the Croque the Croque provenciale, which is served with tomatoes, and there are other variations served in various other places. So, with that in mind, you should feel free to experiment with these variations, and but today we're going to go ahead and get started as we are. So let's go. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create the Gruyere topping. We're going to do that by putting the Gruyere in a bowl. Now this is a little over 100 grams. I think most of the recipes I've seen in French suggest 100 grams of Gruyere for 4 sandwiches. And then we're just going to add a bit of milk on the top. From here, we will stir this together, and we will stir in a dash of nutmeg. You just want a little pinch. Doesn't take a lot. And we're going to stir all of this together, and it looks like I might need just a little more milk. Yeah, that looks better. And basically, this is going to go on top of the sandwiches. The reason for this is this will help make sure that the bread doesn't burn, and the milk will help make sure that the cheese doesn't burn. So we just kind of want to mix these together into a single mass. And you can see how the cheese and milk are kind of mashing together right now. This is kind of the consistency you want. You could make it a little more runny if you want, but not much more. Yeah, I'm going to make it a tiny bit more runny. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then this will, as I say, become the topping of the sandwiches. Next, we're going to assemble them. So, I always make 4 sandwiches at a time. The reason is these sandwiches reheat really well. And so they're great to take to work. You can just pop them in the microwave a little bit, or better yet, in a toaster oven. And pretty soon you have a nice hot lunch. So we're going to start with one. Piece of bread for each sandwich, and onto each piece of bread we're going to put 1 slice of ham. And it's okay if it goes over the edge a little bit. And the reason why I grabbed Prager ham is that it was cheaper than it was the same price as the other cheap ham. And the fact is that Prager ham has this wonderful wood smoke flavor in it that you don't find as often elsewhere. And then I'm going to break these slices of cheese so that they fit. And I'm going to do that for the others. So basically, what I do is I fold them into a square, tear off the edge, and put it in the middle. Just do that. We're going to do that for all four. And finally, we'll put the top on, and at that point we will coat it with the topping cheese. So here we go. And now we take this topping cheese and we're going to put about a quarter of it on each one. And you want to spread this out a bit. We're not putting it in for so long that like the bread's going to completely burn if we don't. But it definitely comes out better if you cover it more. If you spread it out more. So just spread this out. And if it doesn't spread all the way out, again, it's not the end of the world, but just kind of do with what you have. And here we go. This one has a little more than this one, so I'm just gonna move a little over. And here we go. Next we're going to run this with the top element on. In the US you call this broilers. We're going to broil it. In European ovens you just select it with the top broiler on and high temperature for 10 minutes starting at a cold oven. And in 10 minutes we come back and this will be done. So see you in 10 minutes. And so here we have these right out of the oven. Now apparently putting these on the top rack was a little bit too high. Normally I do it in the middle rack, which is better. And I actually pulled these out 2 minutes early because they were starting to look a little bit dark. So my recommendation is keep them in the middle rack. Broil. You can set the thermostat if you're doing it with the door closed, like 200 Celsius, that's 400 Fahrenheit. Otherwise, just broil them until everything looks nicely browned on the top. Next, we'll do a very simple plating. I'm just going to put it on a plate, and then we'll do the taste test. To plate, just going to take one of the sandwiches, put it on a plate. Take a knife and you can cut it in half if you wish, or you can leave it whole if you wish. I'm going to go ahead and cut this in half. You can see the cheese in the middle is melted, along with and it's sticking to the ham. And now, if we were doing a croque madame, we would have the egg on top, or a croque provenciale, you'd put tomato pieces on the outside, but we're just going to eat this as it is. So on to the taste test. And now for the taste test. The flavor of the Gruyere really stands out. The bread is still soft. But the flavors are definitely there. This is a really nice sandwich. I really like it. Now, if you find this content interesting, I hope I've earned a subscription from you, as well as a like to this particular video. Please feel free to comment on anything you would do differently. Any sort of comment like that actually helps make this video more valuable to anybody who watches it. So don't hesitate to say, hey, I think it'd be better if, I don't know, you put butter on the bread or whatever. At any rate, recipes in the description. Bon appetit, and see you next week.